What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Micheal Bounty Hunter. Get this. Micheal Hunter states that I want Usyk again, but on a full belly this time. Micheal Hunter, which is 23-1-2-16, secured a unanimous decision victory over Cassius Chaney on Friday night as a part of the Adrian Broner-Blair Cobbs fight in Florida, okay? And did a good job of, a good piece-up job, good body work by Mike Hunter. He was busy in there. The head movement was giving Chaney fits. He didn't know what to do besides put his dukes up and take punishment and counter here and there. That's pretty much it. You know, that was the synopsis of the fight. No knockdowns or anything like that, okay? And let's see. Micheal Hunter said one of them is to get the world title. My other one is to fight Oleksandr Usyk. I would love to fight him again. I didn't have a good showing at that point. I had little malfunctions outside the ring. These are the things that you don't really get to see. If you look at the tail of the tape on the fight, you'll see that I was underweight the night of the fight compared to the weigh-in, and he had hydrated 10 to 12 pounds. So there was a lot of mistakes that happened outside the ring. That's where most of the time the fight is really won, doing the work outside the ring and doing your due diligence there. I've always had the short end of the stick. Being the B-side fighter, Usyk's team posted that he'd beat Micheal Hunter in America, but really I was in the neck of the woods and their waters. So I had all the downside on me. So that's one thing. If I had a fight camp ready to compete, like all these other guys, Tyson Fury did, Anthony Joshua did, and these other guys with a full camp, and really be able to be prepared for the fight, then I think it would have been a different story. But nevertheless, I would love to get the fight back. That's my only martial arts ninja competition that I really want. Other than that, it would be those world titles. Let me stop right there, okay? Because that's a totally different topic. That's Joshua. This is Usyk, okay? So Micheal Hunter wanting Usyk, you know, I believe they fought in Chicago. Let me look real quick. Let's see. Let's see. Oxon Hill, Maryland. Okay. No, they were in Maryland. And I don't know about Maryland. I know Chicago, you know, is full of Ukrainians, full of a lot of Polish, a lot of Ukrainians. And I don't know what he was doing to get, you know, I don't know how quick it was for him to prepare for Usyk, you know, but he states he wish he had a full camp. And, you know, you can respect that, you know, I mean, and he is like the B-side of a lot of these fights, and yet he only has one loss. So that shows you something about Mike Hunter, that, hey, man, you know, this guy is a lot dangerous and he's a lot better than people think he is. You just got to get in the ring with him and see. You know, no, Povetkin hurt him and he came back, recovered, came back and got in that ass of Povetkin. He did that, you know, and then that's why he earned himself a draw on that night. A lot of people think that Mike won. A lot of people think Povetkin did enough earlier in the fight to secure the win, even though we were dealing with a Povetkin that was, you know, going gradually downhill, not nosediving, but gradually downhill, because this is before, of course, he had his last win, you know, and of knocking out Dillian White. This was before that. This was December in Saudi Arabia. So, you know, Micheal Hunter, you know, I mean, he scored a draw. He didn't lose. He didn't win either. So, you know, and I think that's the complications of when him and Eddie Hearn fell out. Okay. But him wanting to fight Oleksandr Usyk and get the belts, I think fighting Usyk, he can do both. If he could get an Usyk fight, he could do both. But then what puts him where he needs to be? That's the question you ask about Michael Hunter. How the hell are you going to get there? What steps would you take to get there with your management company, with the business decisions that he decided to take and make? I think that, as you can see, clearly sets him far back, where if he would have beat Hrgovic, or if he would have fought Hrgovic to beat Hrgovic, even though it was in, out of the States, and then how he explained to me, like, look, I didn't want to take the damn fight because I was tired of fighting out of the country, because he scored the draw against Povetkin in another country. He wasn't at home. Well, here's the counter. A lot of things are not going to go your way, especially when you have something to prove, especially when you do have a mark on your record. This is boxing. This is not MMA. So people look at that, oh, you got beat to Oleksandr Usyk when you was a cruiserweight. So are you really a heavyweight? So a lot of things he had to prove, especially fighting a big guy like Hrgovic, which is like 6'5". Okay, so he had to prove that, hey, I can hang in there and I can beat these big dudes and show what I got to offer. Instead, hey, no, I don't want to deal with Eddie no more because he pissed me off before. And this is a lesson to be learned. Just because you don't care for a guy's business practices and it makes you feel a certain way, it shouldn't turn you off feeling-wise to do business. Okay, because he very well could have beat Hrgovic, because we've seen Hrgovic struggle with smaller fighters. Look at the Dempsey-McKean fight. Just like, what was that? You know what I mean? And then after that was Mark Demori. Yeah, he destroyed Demori, but who was Demori? Whereas this is Mike Hunter, a guy that's seasoned, a guy that has boxing in his blood, a guy that's known it from yay high, because his dad was Mike Hunter, the other legend in the sport. Okay, so yeah, he knew boxing. He's second generation, where a lot of these guys are not. Okay, a lot of these guys aren't. So I think if anything at all, I think if we have Michael Hunter being who he was supposed to be, those were the steps that he should have taken. Not saying it's not impossible, but what I'm saying is the next time he decides to turn down a high caliber fight like that, think again. Think real hard about what you're going to, or what decision you're going to make before turning a fight down, especially with the top promoters in the game. You can't afford to do that, especially at age 35. See, when he did that before, that was 3-4 years ago. He was like 31 years old. This is 2021. So he was 32. He was still relatively young, but from 32 to 35, then nothing really has remotely happened, on a bigger scale. Then you start to think like, wow, did I really make that the mistake? But if he can get a fight with Oleksandr Usyk, that would be great. And I think it would make up for the decisions that he made before, because I would love to him. I was happy about the Hrgovic Hunter fight purse, and he was a side in that. So based off what he said then, like, hey, well, I was accustomed to being B-side, that gets, kind of hazardous, and you don't really get that full, the full concessions. You don't get the heads up. You don't get the proper time to prepare. You don't get that type of stuff. Okay. Whereas with Filip Hrgovic and Mike Hunter, and I know he will have more to add to this when I speak to him again, he was the A side, and he got, that lion's share of that 1.1 million or something like that, which was like 700,000. So he had that on the platter, and he refused it. And look where Filip Hrgovic went to go. And he went to go there, and then the hardest fighter he fought up to the point of getting there was Zhilei Zhang. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he could have fought Zhilei Zhang and then, fought Hrgovic, then fought Zhilei Zhang, and then eventually he could have been in there with Dubois. You know what I mean? And that's not a set in stone, outcome of how that fight would have went. That would have been one hell of a fight. USA versus UK. You guys tell me what you think of Mike Hunter stating that I want Usyk or I want the belts. Of course, please subscribe. You guys been Counterpunch. Peace.